Hi classmates, I'm Calissa Buzium from the Human Occupations 1 course, and I decided to make a hand-sewn pillow for my project. Let me showcase it to you guys. I think I did a pretty good job if I say so myself. I was really pleased with the results. But what made me think and decide to make a pillow was really a thought process. When I first was trying to think of a craft, I really want to sew a dress because I love fashion. I love reading through the People Style Watch magazine, seeing the how people create or like how they put together their own outfits, and also looking on Instagram and seeing how people like from everyday life, how they create their own clothes and stuff, or how they create their own outfits. But when researching about beginners of sewing, it says it's best to sew a pillow first, and then once you get interested, you start to build upon your sewing skills. So that what kind of led me to make my pillow, but which is still good results because I love how this turned out, and I was very, very pleased with the results. And the experience of learning and completing the craft, I did a lot of online research on how to hand sew a pillow. There was a lot of written instructions with how to sew, but I couldn't really translate the written instruction visually because I'm more of a visual learner. I had to see what they're doing, and so I was kind of getting frustrated to the fact that I can't really translate the words to images in my mind. So I went to YouTube and I found this lady who clearly explained very well how to sew a pillow, and so she was my guide of how to sew a pillow. So as I was starting to craft my pillow, I was watching a YouTube video at the same time, pausing, rewinding, going back, fast forwarding to see if I did this correctly. And also my mom helped me out too with some advice about how to do some of the lateral stitching at the top with the last side to complete. And overall, like, I just kind of was guided by the YouTube and stuff. Was it easy or difficult to complete? Well, at first it was quite frustrating, which I will explain more in my presentation about the two challenging steps. But overall, it was like very frustrating at the beginning because I couldn't get the hang of sewing. But once in a while, once you go over the hurdle of that frustration and challenge, it was pretty like easy to do and stuff. So I just started to stitch all the four corners and stuff, and I like how it turned out pretty good, like I really love my pillow. I love how it turned out. It looks so nice. I left it in the living room because I didn't want to put it in my room because it's messy right now and I don't want this to get dirty and be like also messy too. So I left it in the living room because it looks so nice and neat, and hopefully in the future I can make more pillows and sew more, and I really like how this turned out. So I hope you guys enjoyed my presentation of my crafted pillow, and I hope I could see your guys too. The tools that I use are scissors, a wooden ruler, a needle, measuring tape, pin cushions, pins, and a seam ripper. And the supplies that I use are a green thread, a pillow form, buttons, two types of fabrics, both of them were about half a yard, and a green piping cord. Hi you guys, I'm just going to basically show you the main steps of stitching, and I already did a sample size of it. You could pick any size of pillow you want, and then just measure the size of pillow, translate those measurements onto the fabric, mark it, and then basically cut out the size of the pillow on the fabric and stuff. And once you do that, you pin it on all three sides for security, and then you leave the fourth side open. So at the end, when you finish sewing all three sides, you take the inside corner, pull it out, so the front side, which is on the inside now, could be on the outside, and you could insert the pillow. And once you're all done pinning and stuff, you get your thread. And I have my black thread right here, as you guys can see, right there to thread. Once you get out a length of thread, you cut it, and then you put one end of the thread into the needle hole right here, into the needle hole. And then once you did that, You take both ends of the thread, you wrap it around your finger, and then you put the ends of the thread into the loop, and then you tie it to make a knot. And let me show you the knot that I have on my other thread that I made right here. Here's the knot. Hope you guys can see it right there. It's very tiny right there on the knot. And once you did a knot, you could start sewing. And what you do, and be careful because these needles are sharp, you start at the bottom. You start at the bottom of the fabric and you push up. And make sure the thread is not tangled as you sew. Just like that. And then vice versa. And top to bottom. And you do this throughout all three sides and stuff. Again, be careful because you don't want to poke yourself. And that is how you do a stitch. And you continue that through all three sides. And once you're all done with that, you, again, I said, grab the inside corner, pull it out so the front side could be facing the outside. And that's when you put in the pillow. And once you put in the pillow, that's where you do the lateral stitching, or called invisible stitching. And what that is, you basically start stitching at the top, not on the sides of the fabric. And then you just kind of go zigzag, like go to the top and then you go to the other side of the top. And then you go back and forth, and back and forth until the end. And that's basically how you make a pillow. You don't need to add piping cord or buttons. That's just for decorations, but if you want to, you could. But other than that, that's how you make a basic pillow. Tangled threads and lateral stitching were the challenging steps for me throughout this activity. The tangled threads basically was throughout the process. I've been having knots and stuff as I was stitching through the process, so basically I was trying to stretch out the threading so in order to prevent the knots. And for lateral stitching, that's basically at the last side. I had like the piping cord in the middle, and also the ends of my fabric were fraying off, so it was kind of difficult to do the lateral stitching, but thankfully my mom gave me some tips and advice that really helped me out perform the last step. For social, I was performing this craft alone, but I could definitely see this activity with other people. Stores like Joann's or Michael's are always having social classes. Even my sister church has done multiple sewing classes in the past with kids and adults as well. In the future, I may even, or most likely, attend a sewing class myself to show different things like a tote bag or something that they think is useful or convenient for us. And again, this is my first time sewing a pillow, so I'm still learning and knowing social and community groups who are sewing together as a group. I feel like any age could perform this activity of sewing, kids and older adults, but I think for specific clients, I believe clients who are in depression or clients who have the lack of eye contact or attention could really benefit from this sewing project, and also clients who cannot finish all tasks. Other clients that I think will benefit greatly for this is clients who need to work on their grip, sequential steps, organization, and also hand-to-eye coordination, because there's a lot of focus on how you're putting in the needle, the movement and stuff. So I think all that is important for the client's motor and process skills. There are ways to grade up and grade down crafting a pillow. For grading up, I could create a smaller space for my client to make their pillow. They had to come up or think of the arrangement of furnitures and how to benefit them, so the space could be more open for them to make the pillow. Independently go to fabric stores to buy all the supplies, materials, and tools needed, and also a sewing machine if they are a complete beginner and don't know how to handle or use a sewing machine. For grading down, again, a sewing machine if they are well experienced, because that takes half the time other than hand sewing. Already have the fabric, materials, and supplies already out at the workstation. They don't need to go and gather it and stuff. It's already there. And also they don't need to add a lot of fabric or a lot of accessory to it, such as buttons, piping cords, or ruffles. From the very beginning of my project, I wanted to do something that I could pursue as a leisure activity or find an outlet. That was my main goal for this project. And hand sewing a pillow confirmed just that. I do love sewing, and hopefully for the future and continuing on, I continue to build upon my sewing skills, and I could sew like different things. I could sew a dress, a skirt, a tote bag. I could sew anything and be creative with what I want to do. So I'm very grateful for this therapeutic craft project. It kind of helped me find out my creative side, and I'm so glad for you guys to listening and watching on my presentation of crafting a pillow. I thank you guys so much. I hope you guys get something out from this, and I can't wait to watch your guys' presentation and what you guys did. Thank you for joining me.